Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. Dear friends, we have to read this 19th shloka today. Earlier we completed this 18th shloka which said Naiva tasya krutenartho na kruteneha kaschana nachasya sarvabhuteshu kaschid arthavyapashrayah. That was the shloka. We read that whole shloka. That shloka was in the context of a realized person. Prior to that, Lord Krishna had told that karma, that is action, is something which has to be done by everybody, because this wheel of action, this wheel of karma is something which is there, and then we have to, every person has to follow that wheel. But then he also gave an exemption. He said, Yastu atmaratireva syat, the one who is atmaratihi, atmatruptaha, atmanyevacha santushtaha, one who is a realized person. So for him, there is no karyam, there is no duty, there is no karma, he said. So that shloka and also the earlier shloka, the 18th shloka, Naivatasya Kurtenartho, these 17th and 18th shlokas, they are in the context of a realized person. Again, we are coming back to Arjuna, the context of Arjuna. And Krishna is pointing out that because you are not a realized person, you please do your action. So, very simply, very politely, he is saying, Tasma, I will read out, Tasmad asaktas satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. Tasmad asaktas satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. So this is the shloka. So let us, the overall meaning I will tell first. Therefore, you do karma always. You do whatever is the prescribed karma without fail. That is the first line. Then, one who performs this prescribed karma in a very detached manner, he also will attain that supreme goal. He also will attain supreme goal. So how he attains supreme goal, we will slowly see. The shloka in brief is this. Therefore, you do your karma without having any attachment in the fruit of action. And while, if you do so, you will also attain the supreme. So that is the shloka. So let us see the division of the words. Tasmat plus asaktaha, tasmad asaktaha. Then satatam, independent word, karyam, karma, samachara, sam plus achara, samachara. We need not split it because sam is only an upasarga. Sam achara. Achara, that achara means you perform. Achara, chara dhatu, charati means moves. Achara means to perform. Charati, chara dhatu, when it takes a upasarga, a plus chara becomes achara. Achara means to perform a particular action, that is achara. From that word only achara has come. Achara means say all our procedures, all our say manners and customs, they are all called achara. You see, kima acharaha. Achara means the manners and customs. We follow certain manners and customs. So they are called achara. So the same root, chara dhatu. Samachara, sam plus achara, samyak achara. That is, perform very well, perform with all sincerity. So that is what it means. Then asakta, asaktaha, asakto is asaktaha. He plus acharan, asaktaha, he acharan, karma. Param plus apnoti, param apnoti, purushaha. So these are the words. So let us see what is the verb, what is the subject, and what is the noun, and what is the verb and all that. So karyam karma samachara. So that is the order. Karma samachara. You do action. You perform action in a very say dedicated, sincere manner. Karma samyak achara. Karma samachara. Who is telling whom? Arjuna. Krishna is telling Arjuna. Then what is it that he is supposed to do? Kim karaniyam? Karyam karma samachara. Karyam means that which has to be done. That means there is something which is a prescribed duty, which has to be done, which cannot be avoided. What is that prescribed duty? Niyatam karma, nitya karma, nitya karma. That is, nitya karma means those panchamahayajnas. Nitya Panchamahayajnas, that is Bhuta Yajna, Atithi Yajna, Deva Yajna, Pitru Yajna, Swadhyaya Yajna, those things which we discussed in the earlier classes, they form this Nitya Karma. Nitya Naimittika also is something which is a compulsory thing. Nitya and Naimittika, Naimitika means on various occasions. A person has to do various rites of passage, we say in English. So those things, they also have to be done. That Nitya karma is something, Nitya and Naimitika karma is something which is Karyam. Karyam means that which has to be done. So what is it Krishna is saying? Karma samachara. Kim samachara? Kim samacharaniyam? Karyam karma samacharaniyam. Then how? Satatam achara. Satatam means always, without fail. Then in what manner, with what frame of mind? Asaktaha. Asaktaha means without having any attachment to the fruit of that action. So the very first word is tasmat. Tasmat means therefore. Kasmat, wherefore, why? That tasmat, we have to refer to the earlier shloka. The earlier shloka talked about a jnani. So for a jnani there is no action. And then he says tasmat karma samachara, means because you are not a jnani, you do karma. Because you are not a jnani, you do karma without having any attachment for the fruit of action. So that is the connection. So if you see the connection of the words, tasmat, therefore, karyam karma, the prescribed duty, asaktaha, without having any attachment to that fruit of action, satatam samachara. Satatam is number 4, satatam samachara, always perform. So that is the first line. The second line again is independent. Then again let us see, asaktaha hi acharan karma. Then he means because, another because has come, because say Purushaha means a human being. Purushaha and Purushaha, sometimes Purusha is written, sometimes Purusha is written, one and the same. Purushaha means one and the same, a human being. Asaktaha acharan karma, asaktaha, that is in that frame of mind where that sangha is not there, that desire for the fruit of action is not there. So when a person acharan karma, that is by performing karma in that frame of mind, param apnoti. Param means supreme. Karma acharan means while performing that action. It is a present continuous. Acharan, gachan, piban, ashnan, all these things are present continuous. Gachan pipilika yati. So you must have heard that shloka. Gachan pipilika yati. Pipilika is an ant. Gachan yati shatani yojanani, let us say. That is, when it keeps moving, it can go miles and miles. So that is the shloka. Gachan pipilika yati yojananam shatanyapi. Agachan vainateyopi. If this Vainateya or this Lord Garuda agachan, thinking that I am a very powerful man, I can fly any time. Suppose he keeps quiet, he does not even move a foot. Agachan. So there again what he said is, you have to be a man of action. So that is it. Even if you are a pipilika, you be a person of action. So agachan vainateyopi, agachan padamekam nagachati. Gachan pipilika yojananam shatani yati. So gachan, acharan, piban, this is all present continuous. So acharan karma, by performing karma, then what happens? Kim bhavishyati? Param apnoti. Param means that supreme thing. Apnoti means attains, he obtains. So the second line is, because, that is he, Purushaha, asaktaha karma acharan, asaktasan karma acharan, while he does so, param apnoti, saha, param padam, that param supreme thing, apnoti, he attains. So that is the shloka. So then let us see what are the significant things here. Say asaktaha. Asakta we have explained earlier. Asakta means not having any attachment. Why? Attachment in what? Attachment in punya. Attachment in punya. We are now when we talk about karma in the context of Gita, we are not referring to the usual contractual karma. We are not referring to the social contract karma. You are coming to this office and working and then receiving some pay. This is a social contract. But when you go out and then when you are donating some 10 rupees to somebody, that is an obligation. It is a moral obligation or a social obligation which you are doing. So that karma we are referring to here. That karma is giving some punyam. You are going and giving some money to a temple. You are giving some money to some student. You are giving some money to somebody else. You are helping somebody in some other manner. You are giving food to somebody else. So these are not compulsory things, but they are all Compulsory in the sense, these are not legally compulsory. It is a moral obligation. They are all morally compulsory. So that is why it is said Nitya Karma, Atithi Yajna, Deva Yajna. They are morally compulsory, not legally compulsory. So those actions which are going to give you punyam. So we are now not interested in punyam. Asakta means not interested in punyam. Simple word meaning is asakta means not interested in punyam. Why? Every day we are going to Lord Venkateswara and then asking for punyam only. But then we are now seeing that we don't want punyam. Because punyam again binds you in this cycle of samsara, in this wheel of samsara. Then kamyam karma, karyam karma is nitya karma, not kamya karma. Kamya karma, we know the difference between kamya karma and nitya karma. Then param apnoti, that supreme thing he attains. How does he attain this supreme thing? By doing karma. We know that karma, whatever is achieved by karma, is something which is impermanent. Karma gives you punyam, and then karma takes you to some punyaloka, and after that quantum of karma is complete, is over, then you have to say, come back, like your visa expiry or something like that, and then your pocket is empty, and then you have to come back, isn't it? So here, paramapnoti means how? This karma not only attains punyam, but it also gives chitta shuddhi. Asaktaha, if he performs say karma without having that punyam in mind, it gives chitta shuddhi. That means it purifies, purification of mind. Chitta shuddhi means purification of mind. So purification of mind gradually. So various feelings like say the selfishness, greed and all these things he overcomes, and then he develops some mercy, sympathy for fellow human beings. Of course the notion of I may be there, but then all these good qualities will be developed. And then when he performs karma as an order from the Lord, as we said in the last class, many of the bad actions will be filtered. Many bad actions will be filtered. Shambho Tavaradhanam. I gave a funny example also. I don't go to a pub, drink, make merry, and then I will not be able to say, oh Lord, this is all your Leela. So I will not be able to say. Automatically some of my bad actions will be cut off. So in that manner, Chitta Shuddhi. So karma is leading you to Chitta Shuddhi. The karma means Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is leading you to Chitta Shuddhi. And Chitta Shuddhi is the preparatory ground for Jnana. And Jnanam, the Upanishad lines can come and they can reveal their meaning only in such a mind. Upanishadic lines, they can reveal their meaning only in such a pure mind. So that is the point there. Param apnoti purushaha. So this is the shloka. The next shloka is again a very important shloka. 20, shloka number 20. I will read. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha lokasangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. I repeat. Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayaha lokasangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. So the overall meaning is like this. Lord Krishna is now giving some examples. It is not as though I am telling you alone to do this action. Many emperors earlier, many old emperors who have gone by, they have performed the same action. They have performed karma. And then they have attained moksha. It is not as though this is something which is exceptionally I am telling you. Many others, Purva Kshatriya, the ancient philosopher kings, they all did this karma. Karmana eva hi samsiddhim asthitaha. Then you are also supposed to keep in mind Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangraha is one beautiful word which Krishna is using. You are supposed to keep in mind that it is your responsibility to keep people from going in the wrong path. It is your responsibility to hold people from moving on a wrong path. So that is what he says. So that is the meaning here. Let us see the words. Karmanaiva. How do you split? Karmana plus eva. Karmanaiva. Hi. Samsiddhim asthitaha. Janakadayaha. We need not split. Janaka plus adi, janakadi, janakadayaha. Janaka and others. Then Lokasangraham eva plus api. Lokasangraham eva api. Lokasangraham eva api. Sampashyan kartum arhasi. Kartum arhasi means you are supposed to do. Kartum arhasi. Gantum arhasi. You can go. Khaditum arhasi. You can eat. That is a sort of advice, a sort of commendatory or recommendatory say tone. Gantum arhasi means you have to do, you please do. It is not an order also. Gantum arhasi, it is a sort of recommendatory word. Gantum arhasi, kartum arhasi, something like that. Bhoktum arhasi, you can eat. It is something like a can. You can do. Gantum kartum arhasi, you can do. So it is a sort of recommendatory word. So let us see the connections here. Then what is the word he? He means yasmat, karmana eva he. Kasmat, because in the earlier sentence he said, even by doing karma you can attain the supreme thing. Therefore, because, and here, because, he is giving a reason. Because even ancient philosopher kings, they also attained this. Because karmana eva janakadayaha. Janakadayaha is the noun. Janakadayaha is the say subject here. Janakadayaha means kings like Janaka and others. Karmana eva samsiddhim asthitaha. Karmana eva, by karma only, by doing karma only, by not relinquishing karma only. Samsiddhim is moksha. Moksham asthitaha. Asthitaha means attained. A plus sthita. Stha dhatu. Sthitaha. Sthita means they are stationed there. Asthita means attained. So the word meaning changes with an upasarga. So the first line is, say, I am telling you this because many old kings like Janaka, they attained this samsiddhi, karmana eva samsiddhim asthitaha, by doing karma only, by following this path of karma only, or by along with karma, karmana saha, even with karma, they attained this moksha. Then that way how they attained moksha, I will explain. Then the second line is again an independent sentence. Loka sangraham eva api sampashyan kartum arhasi. You can do action. Kartum arhasi is the verb. You can do action. Why? Loka sangraham sampashyan. Even keeping in mind, even from he is giving another option. Even keeping in mind loka sangraham. Even eva api, it can mean even keeping in mind. Loka sangraham sampashyan. Sampashyan means samyak pashyan. Keeping in mind. Pashyati means, pashyan actually means seeing. Here seeing means keeping in mind. Sampashyan, samyak pashyan, by keeping in mind, by keeping that in mind. Loka sangraham eva sampashyan kartum arhasi. Kim kartum arhasi? Karma kartum arhasi. Loka sangraham samyak pashyam. Loka sangraham manasi nidhaya. Manasi nidhaya means keeping in mind. Manasi nidhaya. So loka sangraham tava manasi nidhaya karma kartum arhasi. So that is the fill in the blanks. Loka sangraham tava manasi nidhaya karma kartum arhasi. So that is the meaning. So what is this loka sangraham? Shankaracharya has given an explanation for that word. Lokasya unmarga pravrutti nivaranam loka sangraha. Unmarga means a bad path. Marga means a path. Unmarga means bad path. Lokasya unmarga pravrutti nivaranam. That is preventing people from going on a wrong path. Preventing people from going on a wrong path can happen only when there is a good philosopher king. If the king himself is a corrupt fellow, then he cannot keep people from going on wrong paths. Yatha raja tatha praja. So if the king himself is a corrupt fellow, if you have a corrupt system at the top, naturally all other people also will follow the same corrupt system. If the king is a good fellow, he will be able to punish the bad people. So that in that way he is doing. Plus he is also setting an example for all good people. He is also setting an example for all people so that they follow his path. So that is how he is doing this loka sangraham. Loka sangraham sampashyan manasi nidhaya karma kartum arhasi. If you do not do karma, others also will give up karma. Oh, our king is not bothered for yajna, he is a sanya, he is somebody like, he is a atheist, suppose. That is why one of the qualifications for a king, according to our own old smritis, a king should not be an atheist. If the king is an atheist, all other people also will become atheists. And then atheism is no guarantee for, say, moral, say, behavior. Yeah, somebody can be an atheist and morally upright. Somebody like Buddha, somebody like Lord Mahavira, Jain, say they can be morally upright, they can be ethically highly refined people, highly, say, principled people. But all people down the line cannot be so. You see, unless there is some belief in some system, unless there is some belief in a God or some punishment, some heaven, some hell and some belief system, an ordinary man will not tend to do a good job, say, follow the right path. So some little bit of fear of some religion, fear of some, say, heaven, hell, some promise of heaven, etc., etc., they put a man on the right path. So that is why one Smriti says a king should not be an atheist. So here, anyway, the king is supposed to, whoever is at the top, the boss, he is supposed to be a person of good behavior, so that all other people, they will emulate his behavior. So that is the point here. Lokasangraham sampashyam kartum arhasi. So then here, of course, there is a small discussion which the commentators have done. Karmana samsiddhi katham bhavati. So then Janaka and others, what was their real position? Were they really jnanis or were they karma yogis? So that was the question. So the question, the option is like, the explanation is like this. If Janaka was not a jnani, if Janaka and others, philosopher kings, they were not fully realized souls, they were on the karma yoga path, and then they were following this karma yoga in order to attain purification of mind, and slowly, gradually, krama mukti, that is, in a gradual process they would have attained mukti. Or if they were really jnanis, if they were really realized persons, they were doing that karma because that was their prarabdha karma, because he is born in a king's family. He is born in a king's family, that kingdom is there with him, and then he can't renounce his kingdom and he can't go away, so he has to do it, he has to perform all his royal duties in a very, very dispassionate, disinterested manner. So that is what is Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangraham sampashyam kartum arhasi. So by keeping in mind that Loka Sangraha, so Chitta Shuddha, say, if they were not jnanis, they were following karma marga in order to purify their minds. If they were jnanis, they were doing it for the sake of Loka Sangraha, keeping in mind that they were setting a role model, and then keeping in mind that all other people should follow their action, keeping in mind that they have to be prevented from following a wrong path. Loka Sangraha, that is holding people from going on a wrong path. So all that, by keeping that in mind, they were doing action. So this is what is, say, this shloka. So we will see next.